Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to control every aspect of your life, the more out of control everything seems to get? It's ironic, right? We live running from one thing to the next, trying to tighten every screw, when in reality, the only thing we should be doing is relaxing. Yes, it sounds contradictory, but there's the trick. True power to manifest what you desire doesn't come from constant struggle, but from allowing yourself to be calm, like a serene lake. In today's video, I'm going to show you how Stoic philosophy makes it clear. In serenity, there is strength. I'll share with you 10 valuable lessons for manifesting what you want from a peaceful and centered mind. Don't miss the last one. It's going to leave you speechless, as it's the key. In this chaotic, disorganized world, where no matter how hard we fight, day after day, we're left without time or breath, why not try letting go and then let me know? Breathe, release the chaos, and let life flow. Have you ever seen a stressed-out person's life be the right one? Probably not. If you pay enough attention to what's coming next, you'll see how, with less effort, you begin to attract what you've been longing for. The first step is to relax, because what you seek is already on its way, and you're in the right place. But before we dive in, let me share a story that will help you understand the wisdom behind this content. We live in a world obsessed with control. From our daily schedules to the way we manage relationships, it feels like we need to hold everything tightly, like trying to grasp water in our hands. But here's the truth. No matter how hard you try, some things are simply beyond your control. This realization can feel frustrating at first, but it's one of the most liberating ideas you can embrace. The secret lies not in controlling everything, but in accepting that life will unfold as it should. The more you struggle against this, the more chaotic your life becomes. It's like pushing against a wave with your bare hands. It only pulls you in deeper. The real power, however, comes when you let go and stop fighting everything. Let go of the need to control everything. Yes, it sounds contradictory, but the true strength in manifestation comes from relaxing and trusting the process, from releasing the tension that comes from trying to force everything into place. Imagine your mind as a lake. At its calmest, it reflects everything clearly. When it's choppy, you can't see anything. The same goes for your thoughts. When you're constantly battling against your mind, trying to fix, change, or control things, nothing is clear. But when you allow yourself to relax, to just breathe and let go of the effort, your mind becomes calm. In that stillness, the universe can respond to you. In serenity, there's strength. This is the principle of Stoic philosophy. Achieving peace not by forcing everything into your grip, but by accepting what you cannot change. Have you ever tried to control every single detail of your life, from your work to your relationships, only to feel more overwhelmed and less in control? I've been there. In fact, many of us have. And here's the kicker. The harder we try to control, the more we lose control. It's only when we step back, breathe, and trust that life will take its course that we truly find our path. In the constant rush, we often forget that slowing down can lead us to everything we want. Ironically, when we surrender control, things start to flow, and that's when true manifestation begins. When you stop fighting, you open the door to everything you've been longing for. Manifestation isn't about effort. It's not about pushing harder, working endlessly, or controlling every aspect of your life. Manifestation happens when you align yourself with the natural flow of life. It's about recognizing that the universe works in mysterious ways, often bringing you exactly what you need, just when you need it. But let's be clear, this isn't about sitting back and doing nothing. This is about taking action, but from a place of peace, not panic. The Stoics have always taught us that the true measure of strength isn't in how much we can control or conquer, but in how much we can stay centered and calm, no matter the circumstances. And here's the key takeaway. When you try to control, you push away the opportunities the universe has prepared for you. When you relax, you make space for those opportunities to come. Let go of the burden of control. You don't need to have everything planned down to the last detail. All you need to do is trust the process, and the rest will fall into place. You'll start attracting what you truly desire, not through stress or force, but through alignment and surrender. A good friend once told me that the universe has its own timing, and it's something I've come to realize is true. The more I tried to control the timing of my life, the more frustrated I became. When I finally let go and trusted the flow, everything began to come together effortlessly. There is a peace in surrendering control. It's not about being passive, it's about being present and fully engaged in the moment without trying to control every outcome. You see, manifestation isn't about pushing or striving. It's about letting life unfold in the way it's meant to. It's about allowing space for the universe to work its magic while you stay grounded and calm. It's when you let go that you finally make room for what you've been asking for. So here's the challenge for you. Next time you feel yourself trying to control everything, stop. Take a deep breath. Let the tension go. Relax. Let go of the need to micromanage every aspect of your life and watch how things start to come together. As soon as you stop fighting, the answers will come and you'll be ready to embrace them. Remember, the true strength is in the serenity of your mind. In the stillness, there is power. How many times have you found yourself so deeply absorbed in your thoughts, overwhelmed by the never-ending noise in your head, and felt as though the world was crashing down on you? It's like trying to work in a room full of distractions, but there's no escape. The irony here is that when we chase after our goals with desperation and anxiety, the more elusive they seem to be. We chase, but nothing seems to catch. But what if I told you that the trick isn't to chase harder, but to step back, quiet your mind, and let things come to you? You see, manifestation is not about frantic effort. It's not about pushing through stress, working around the clock, or frantically trying to control every aspect of your life. The real secret to bringing your desires into reality comes from a calm mind. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism truly shines. Learning to stay grounded and centered, no matter how chaotic the world around you becomes. When your mind is in turmoil, it's like trying to see your reflection in a stormy sea. Nothing is clear. But when you achieve calmness, suddenly you can see everything clearly. Why is it that when we stop trying so hard, things begin to flow naturally? That's because the real power of manifestation lies in the art of relaxing. Relaxing your mind, releasing the tension, and allowing life to unfold. This is what the Stoics believed. True strength comes from serenity. By surrendering the need to control every moment, you can start to tap into a greater energy that works for you rather than against you. Take a moment to think about the last time you were completely calm. No stress, no worries, just being present in the moment. It's in these quiet moments when the universe is able to align with your energy and deliver what you've been asking for. We often overlook this, thinking that we have to struggle to earn everything we want. But the real magic happens when we stop fighting against the flow and trust that everything is already on its way. The universe is always working for us, but only when we allow it to. So, what does it mean to manifest from a calm state of mind? It means freeing yourself from the constant pressure of doing more, being more, and controlling more. The more you try to force things into place, the more out of sync you become with the natural order of life. It's like swimming against the current, exhausting, frustrating, and ultimately, you'll get nowhere. When you release that grip and stop struggling, you start to align with the current, allowing it to guide you to exactly where you need to go. In the rush to achieve our goals, we often forget that calmness is the key to clarity. It's only when we calm our minds that we can truly see the path forward. This isn't about doing nothing, but about taking intentional action from a place of peace, not chaos. The Stoics taught us that the best decisions come from a place of tranquility, not anxiety. When you're relaxed, you can think clearly, make better decisions, and ultimately take more effective actions that move you closer to your goals. But how do you actually achieve this state of calm? It's simple, yet not always easy. Take a step back, slow down, breathe, and allow yourself to just be. We live in a world that constantly urges us to go faster, work harder, and do more. But the more we buy into this frantic energy, the further we get from achieving true peace. Instead of forcing yourself into overdrive, take a moment to breathe and relax. Start small, take a few deep breaths every day, pause in the middle of your tasks, and focus on the present moment. It doesn't have to be complicated. The power of relaxation isn't about being passive. It's about being intentional with your energy. It's about choosing to act from a place of calmness instead of reacting from a place of stress. When you let go of your need to control, you create space for your desires to come to you. Manifestation happens naturally when we stop forcing it and allow it to flow effortlessly. So, when you find yourself overwhelmed or stressed, remember this. Stop trying so hard. Calm your mind, breathe, and let go of the need to control every outcome. Trust that what you desire is already on its way. The universe is always working, but only when we stop fighting against it. Take a moment each day to remind yourself that calmness is the key to success. When you embrace serenity, you align yourself with the natural flow of life, and that's when you start to see things unfold with ease. The less you struggle, the more you'll manifest. How often do you find yourself gripping onto things, whether it's material possessions, relationships, or even past regrets, thinking that you need to hold on tight in order to keep control? It's like clutching your fists around sand, only to watch it slip away despite your best efforts. The more you try to control, the more out of control you become. And here's the truth. You don't need to hold on to anything. It's in the letting go that you actually gain control. This is where the power of Stoicism comes into play. The Stoics believed in something incredibly powerful, the art of detachment. They understood that attachment to things, people, or even ideas creates unnecessary stress, because nothing in life is permanent, yet we act as if it is. But true power lies in learning to detach, to release our attachment to outcomes, and to trust the process. It's not about losing what you care about. It's about creating space for something better to come into your life. Now, I know you might be thinking, but I've worked so hard to get this far. If I let go, I might lose everything. But what if I told you that by releasing your attachment, you actually open the door for greater things to come to you? The Stoics understood this. They knew that letting go was the only way to truly gain freedom. When you're not holding on to something, you create space for the universe to deliver new opportunities, fresh experiences, and real growth. Let me ask you, have you ever held on to something or someone only to feel it pulling you down? Whether it's a toxic relationship, a job that no longer serves you, or even negative beliefs about yourself, these attachments weigh you down. They hold you back from becoming the person you were meant to be. It's like trying to run a marathon with weights around your ankles. You're exhausted before you even start. So, how do you detach? It's simple, but it's not always easy. The first step is to recognize that everything is temporary. That relationship you're holding on to so tightly, it won't last forever. That job that's draining you, it won't define your worth. Once you accept that nothing is permanent, you can stop clinging to it. You give yourself permission to release and move forward. Another powerful Stoic teaching is the idea that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. If you're holding on to something that no longer serves you, whether it's a person, a habit, or an emotion, you have the power to choose to let it go. Detachment is about taking back control of your life by choosing to release what no longer serves you. When you detach from something, you're not saying it doesn't matter. You're simply acknowledging that you are not defined by it. You're bigger than that attachment, and you have the power to choose your next step. Now let's take a moment to talk about how this plays out in your life. When you cling to something, whether it's the need to be right, the desire for approval, or even the fear of failure, you limit your potential. You're holding yourself hostage to something outside of yourself. But when you learn to let go, you free yourself to experience life without the fear of loss. The only thing you really have control over is your inner peace. Take this lesson from the Stoics. Detach from the need to control everything, whether it's the outcome of your goals, the behavior of others, or even your own fears. Release the need to control. The moment you let go, you'll discover a sense of freedom you never thought possible. It's like a weight being lifted off your shoulders. Freedom comes when you detach from attachment. Remember, life will always throw challenges your way, but how you handle them is what defines your journey. The Stoics didn't just accept hardship, they embraced it. They understood that detachment didn't mean being indifferent. It meant not allowing external circumstances to dictate their emotional state. They chose to let go of what they couldn't control, and in doing so, they found strength in serenity. So, today, I challenge you to look at something in your life that you're holding on to too tightly. Maybe it's a grudge, an outdated goal, or a relationship that drains you. Take a deep breath and let it go. You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel when you release the weight of unnecessary attachment. And remember, true freedom isn't in holding on to things, it's in letting go. You know what's truly powerful? Mastering your inner world. Most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them, trying to change other people, manipulate situations, or force things to happen in their favor. But here's the catch. You can't control external circumstances. You can only control how you respond to them. It's time to wake up to a powerful truth. The only real power you have is in your response. Life will always throw obstacles at you, problems with people, bad luck, missed opportunities. But none of that has to define your happiness or your success. What matters is how you respond. This is the foundation of Stoicism. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, taught that the world is full of uncontrollable events and that we waste so much time and energy fighting what we can't change. Instead, they encouraged us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to stay calm in the most chaotic situations? While everyone else is running around trying to fix things, they remain still, almost like nothing phases them. These people aren't superheroes. They just understand the true power of their responses. They choose peace, no matter what happens outside of them. And that's the secret. When you realize that you don't have to react to every situation, that you have the power to choose how to respond, something incredible happens. You take back control of your life. You stop reacting in a way that leaves you feeling drained, upset, or anxious. Instead, you learn to act with intention and purpose. Now, I want you to think about a situation in your life where you felt completely out of control. Maybe it was a conversation that escalated into an argument, or maybe it was a project that spiraled into chaos. In those moments, what was the one thing you had the power to control? Your response. The way you chose to handle that situation is what ultimately made the difference. Think about it. When you respond with patience, with wisdom, or with a sense of humor, you shift the energy. You no longer let the circumstances control you. Instead, you control the circumstances by managing your emotions and your reactions. The Stoics mastered this by practicing mindfulness and self-discipline. They understood that our reactions are often automatic, driven by our emotions, our past experiences, or our insecurities. But here's the kicker. Just because a reaction is automatic doesn't mean you have to act on it. You have the power to pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values. Let me ask you, how much energy do you spend each day reacting to things that don't serve you? If you've ever gotten into a conflict that left you feeling worse afterward, you know exactly what I mean. The energy you spend on worrying about things that are outside of your control is energy you could be using for growth, creativity, or building relationships that truly matter. Imagine, just for a second, what your life would look like if you stopped reacting to everything. Instead of snapping at someone who upset you, you paused, took a deep breath, and responded with calmness and clarity. You wouldn't just feel better, you would be better. When you stop reacting, you stop the cycle of negativity, and you begin to live in harmony with yourself and the world around you. I want you to picture yourself handling any situation, from traffic to difficult people, with composure. Not because you're ignoring your feelings, but because you've learned to master them. You understand that emotions are signals, not commands, and you choose not to be controlled by them. You can acknowledge frustration or anger, but you don't have to act on them. That's where real power lies. So, how do you start? The first step is awareness. Notice when you're about to react. Pause for a moment before saying or doing anything. Ask yourself, what is the most empowering response in this situation? Then, choose that response. Practice it, and over time, it will become your default. As you do this, remember that Stoic philosophy teaches that life is about accepting what you cannot control and focusing on what you can. There will always be things outside your control, other people, circumstances, outcomes. But the one thing you can always control is your response. Here's your challenge. Start paying attention to how you respond today. In every moment, whether it's a minor inconvenience or a major obstacle, ask yourself, how can I respond with control and composure? And watch how your life begins to shift. By embracing this power of response, you'll find yourself walking through life with a sense of purpose, peace, and inner strength. You'll no longer be at the mercy of external events. You will be the master of your own reactions, and therefore the master of your own life. So, are you ready to take back control, stop reacting, and start responding? The more you practice this, the more it will become a part of who you are. And before you know it, you'll be the calm in the storm that everyone else is looking for. Remember this, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That's your power, that's your freedom, that's your life. Let's dive deeper into how this shift in mindset can change the very way you experience life. You see, most people feel like they're constantly battling the outside world, whether it's fighting with a partner, stressing over finances, or simply trying to stay afloat in the chaos of day-to-day life. And the more you struggle, the more things seem to spiral out of control, right? This happens because you're caught up in the illusion of control. You believe that if you just try hard enough, if you just focus enough energy on the external problems, you'll eventually get everything in line. But, as we both know, this often only leads to frustration and burnout. So, what's the real solution? Stop fighting the tide. This doesn't mean giving up. This means accepting that you don't have to force everything into place. The universe has a rhythm to it, and when you align with that rhythm instead of pushing against it, you will start to see the flow of life move more smoothly. Take this example from the Stoic teachings of Epictetus, who said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The idea here is not to try and change the external world. Rather, focus on changing your inner world, the world of your thoughts, your emotions, and your responses. You have complete authority over this domain, and when you truly understand that, you will feel empowered, not controlled. So, how does this look in real life? Step 1. Stop blaming external circumstances for your emotions. This may sound obvious, but it's one of the hardest things to do. It's easy to point fingers and say, "I would be happier if this situation were different," or "I'd be more successful if the economy was better." But in doing this, we give away our power. The key to freedom is realizing that no person, no event, no situation can dictate how you feel unless you allow it. Imagine you're stuck in traffic. Instead of swearing or getting upset, you pause and think, "What can I do with this time?" I can listen to an audiobook, catch up on a podcast, or just breathe and relax. There's nothing I can do to change this, so I might as well make the best of it. Now, isn't that a better approach than letting your anger or frustration control the situation? In fact, when you take back your response, you win, not the situation, but your inner peace. And that's far more valuable. Step 2. Redefine failure. Another core principle of Stoic thought is that failure is not the end of the road, it's simply part of the process. Imagine you failed at something. Maybe it's a project that didn't go as planned, or a relationship that didn't last. Most people see failure as a judgment of their worth or ability, but the Stoics teach that failure is simply an opportunity to grow. When you stop reacting emotionally to failure and instead embrace it as a lesson, you free yourself from the grip of fear. Failure no longer becomes something to avoid, but something to welcome as part of the journey toward mastery and success. Step 3. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. In a world where we're constantly bombarded with what we don't have, it's easy to overlook the blessings that are already in front of us. But here's the thing. When you make gratitude a daily practice, you begin to see life through a completely different lens. In the Stoic tradition, gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful for the good things in life. It's about appreciating everything, even the challenges, because it's often through adversity that we learn the most. When you train yourself to see the lessons in every situation, whether it's a success or a failure, you start to realize that you're always gaining something valuable. Take a moment today to reflect on what you're truly grateful for. It could be something simple, like a roof over your head, or a good conversation with a friend. Or it could be something more profound, like the lessons you've learned from past struggles. When you practice gratitude consistently, you'll notice how your energy shifts and how much more content you feel. Step 4. Learn the art of detachment. One of the toughest lessons to learn is how to detach from outcomes. This doesn't mean not caring about what happens, but rather understanding that your happiness doesn't depend on the result. So much of our suffering comes from our attachment to things turning out exactly how we want them to. But life is unpredictable, and you can't control how things unfold. By practicing detachment, you allow yourself to invest in the process without becoming fixated on the outcome. You give yourself the freedom to act without the weight of expectations. And when things don't go as planned, you move forward without guilt or regret. Step 5. Embrace discomfort and adversity. This is perhaps one of the most challenging Stoic principles. Embrace hardship. The Stoics believed that life's challenges are what shape us into better, stronger people. When we try to avoid discomfort, we miss out on growth. But when we face it head-on, we develop resilience and strength. Think about the last time you were faced with a tough situation. It probably felt uncomfortable at the time, right? But look at you now. You're still standing, still moving forward. And with each challenge you face, you build more resilience. Life's obstacles, rather than breaking you, make you more unshakable. This mindset shift, Focusing on how you respond transforms not only how you experience life's challenges, but how you see yourself. The more you practice these Stoic principles, the more control you'll have over your emotions, your peace, and your ability to respond with wisdom, calm, and clarity. Remember, you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. That's where your real power lies. So the next time you feel yourself getting swept up in frustration or overwhelm, remember, the power is in your response. How many times have you found yourself overwhelmed by the noise and chaos around you? The endless messages, demands, and distractions that fill every moment. The constant pressure to keep up, stay ahead, and be on all the time. It's exhausting, isn't it? Yet, what if I told you that the answer to finding peace isn't in doing more, but in doing less? In the world of constant stimulation, we forget that strength lies in stillness, and that by detaching from the noise, we can find clarity and power. This is where the Stoics had it right. Silence, detachment, and self-control were core principles of their teachings. And no, I'm not just talking about external silence. I'm talking about finding inner peace amidst the chaos. It's in the moments of quiet reflection that true strength arises. The world may be spinning out of control, but your inner world doesn't have to be. Let's explore how this applies to your daily life. Step 1. Embrace the power of silence. How often do you sit in silence without any distractions, without any agenda? In our modern world, we are constantly bombarded with stimuli. The phone is always buzzing, the TV is always on, and the distractions never end. But silence is a weapon. Not just external silence, but the ability to silence the noise within your mind. The constant chatter, the endless to-do lists, the worry and the anxiety. It's all noise that clouds your judgment and weakens your ability to act from a place of calm. Imagine what it would feel like to detach from the noise just for a moment and let your mind breathe. This is where clarity begins. This is where your true power is waiting. To practice this, set aside time each day where you simply sit in silence. No phone, no distractions, no expectations. Just be present with yourself. Let your thoughts come and go like clouds passing through the sky, without attaching to them or letting them control you. In that silence, you'll find your center, your true strength. Step 2. Detach from outcomes. When you stop attaching your happiness to outcomes, you free yourself. The Stoics taught that our joy should not depend on circumstances, but on our internal state. Life will always be unpredictable, and when you get too attached to how things should unfold, you set yourself up for disappointment. The more tightly you grip the outcome, the more it slips through your fingers. What if you allowed yourself to act with full intention and effort, but without expectation of the result? You would be free from the anxiety of whether things go your way or not. Instead of focusing on controlling every aspect of your life, you would focus on doing your best and letting go of the need to control the outcome. Think about it like this. When you're holding on to something tightly, it becomes more difficult to move. The tighter you grasp, the more rigid and stuck you become. But when you learn to let go, not only do you free yourself, but you create space for something better to come into your life. Step 3. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics were masters of focusing their energy only on what was within their control. In life, there are two types of things, those you can control and those you cannot. So why waste your energy on things that don't matter? Focus on what you can change and learn to accept what you cannot. This is the key to peace. When you practice detachment, you start to shift your focus. Instead of getting frustrated about situations beyond your control, you'll focus on how you can respond, how you can grow, and how you can improve. Your happiness becomes a choice. By focusing only on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your responses. You put yourself in the driver's seat of your life. Step 4. Find freedom in letting go. The more you hold on to, the more weighed down you become. Whether it's negative emotions, outdated beliefs, or toxic relationships, holding on only weighs you down. In fact, letting go is one of the most powerful things you can do for your peace of mind. Think about the things you are holding on to. Are there people, situations, or even beliefs that are draining your energy? Are you clinging to past hurts or future expectations that are taking up precious mental space? The true power lies in releasing that grip. It doesn't mean you forget or become numb to emotions, but rather you release the need to control or fix everything. And that release, that's where freedom lives. Step 5. Practice self-reflection and acceptance. Another important Stoic practice is self-reflection. The Stoics were constantly reflecting on their actions, emotions, and thoughts. And it's through this practice that they learned to detach from the unimportant and focus on the meaningful. Every day, take a moment to reflect on your actions. Ask yourself, did I act with intention today? Did I act according to my values? Self-reflection allows you to detach from the need for external validation. It gives you the clarity to act from your own sense of purpose, rather than seeking approval or confirmation from others. Through these practices, you begin to cultivate a sense of inner peace that is unshaken by external circumstances. You realize that the less you try to control, the more you gain control over your peace, your mind, and your future. The takeaway: the journey to strength, peace, and manifestation starts from within. By embracing silence, detaching from the outcomes, focusing on what you can control, and letting go of what doesn't serve you, you create space for your true desires to manifest. True power lies not in action, but in stillness. When you stop fighting against the flow of life and instead allow it to move with you, that's when the magic happens. The Stoic wisdom of silence, detachment, and self-control isn't just philosophy. It's a path to inner freedom and a more fulfilling life. So, take a deep breath, let go of the chaos, and begin living with clarity and intention. The life you desire is already on its way.